Got ourselves a replay here from our Warpstone Cup best of 3 tournament. Sted versus the Phoenix King. Sted taking the Greenskins versus the Phoenix King's Bretonnia. Phoenix King known mostly for all 3 elven factions is what he generally plays quite well. But in a try-hard tournament, I know the Wood Elves aren't exactly performing well, so I suppose that limits him to 2 of his beloved elven factions. Alrighty, what do we have? King Lewin and Hippogriff Knights, pretty standard stuff. Damsel of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood, another Grail Knight on the ground, and then Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant spammed out with a whole Men-at-Arms front line, no archers. For the Greenskin, we have 1 Goblin Wolf Rider sneakily in the vanguard, in case there are archers that can flank in the late game. Then a bunch of Orc Borbigans, 4 of them, Stone Trolls and the Swamp Things River Trolls, 2 Orc Boys, a bunch of Squig Herds, front line of Goblins, and then Giant River Troll Hag, just Fate of Yuna, no Spirit Leech. Night Goblin Warboss with his Rampage and his Net combination. Pretty standard stuff from both armies. While they set up and walk towards each other, I will hit ×2 speed until they get close to engaging. Right now both players just setting up battle lines and moving forward slowly. Not wanting to overextend. I'm sure both sides are fine with building up Winds of Magic, so there's a regrowth available for if anything sneaky happens. Speaking of sneaky, Goblin Wolf Riders are wishing they were a little more sneaky as they're now getting caught out, but a countercharge from the Borbogans trying to get free damage on some of the Men-at-Arms, while the Goblin Wolf Raiders are just taken right off the map. So, even trade between these two sides, honestly. Spear Men-at-Arms is about 300 gold. I mean, I think they're exactly 250, so overall, beneficial for Bretonnia, but still. Knights of the Realm going to charge into these Goblins. Send some of them flying, but it was a rather lackluster charge, and now with Squigs getting in here as well, the Knights of the Realm are going to lose, and they'll want to get out of here. The Boar Boys aren't actually here. That flag is very deceptive. You see most of the unit is actually right here. Fermented Fungi is going to keep the Knights of the Realm in this losing fight, and they will die entirely. First Bretonian line is pushed back. More Squigs hopping in the fight as Knights Errant dive forward with Lewin to try and stop them in their tracks. But what will the Hippogriff Knights and the Grail Knights do is the real question. Grail Knights are hanging back for now. Hippogriffs are up in the sky, and the Grail Knights are the first recipients of the Fate of Yuna. Fate of Yuna itself has taken some nerfs, plus Grail Knights do have Ward Save, but it's still going to be a very good spell against something so expensive. Might as well get it out there. This is a losing fight for the Greenskins for sure. Little healing out. Earthblood Overcast to try and mitigate the Fate of Yuna damage, and it's doing a great job. That Fate of Yuna did not do very much to the Grail Knights at all. But elsewhere, the Greenskins are doing just fine. More Knights of the Realm trying to flank these Orc Boys. We have some Orc Borbigans trying to get back there and deal with them, and another one's coming in for a bit of a sandwich. Though we do have a 4th Orc Borbigan just kind of sitting off in the distance. He will have to be remembered, and soon he's going to have impact on this game. Grail Knights taking increasing amounts of damage as more Borbigans get involved, plus Night Goblin Warboss. I think is giving them, plus bonus versus large and more damage. Waz out as well, and the Grail Knights not enjoying this whatsoever. Maybe they can get a regrowth here soon. It looks like it is being cast, but cast for who? It is on the Grail Knights, which is pretty clutch. The surround came in for the backside. Borbigans buffed up by Wa, taking their day out on the Knights around the Knights Errant. Lewin is here to try and help. It looks like the Greenskins are slightly outnumbered, so they are trying to back off from that fight. And this Boar Boy still chasing down the Knights Errant, going to catch him in the trees and take him out. Grail Knights routing. No, those are the Grail Knights, and they're very healthy after that regrowth. Healing cap is in sight, but they and the Hippogriff Knights should get to safety. Never mind. Rampage brings the Hippogriff Knights right back, down to 12 melee defense due to that Fermented Fungi Rampage. And the closed in owned by Stone Trolls, River Trolls, and the Orc Borbigans. Say goodnight to the Hippogriff Knights. Lewin and his couple knights over here are the last things doing really well for Bretonnia. We still have a Grail Knight somewhere. There it is. It charged back in to try and save the Hippos. We've got a bit of healing, it looks like, from the whooshy-whooshes around them. They're down to 9 models. Another Fate of Yuna on the Grail Knights, who are going to be heal capped soon. It's not like they can really stop that damage too much. They're trying to pull back, and Lewin is going to go for a rear charge over here to try and get everybody's leadership low enough that he can start routing some things off, but I don't know if he's really going to make a difference here, lads. Tormentor Sword is even out, netting the Grail Knights in place. River Trolls are on their way. Leaving. Stone Trolls don't seem to care. Squigs are on their way out as well. Orc Biggins might tear her out soon, despite the bad moon giving them better stats, though, and Moon dives straight on the giant River Troll hag. Grail Knights barely clinging to life. Where are those hippos? They went off the map, never rallied, which is strange. Their leadership was positive as I saw them leaving the map. 2 big tear outs from Lewin, and man, if the Hippogriffs were still here, this would actually be a pretty close game, but I have to think the Greenskins are going to win it from this point. Grail Knights are routing off with almost no HP. You have full health Stone Troll is tear routing, but it'll be back. And your River Troll Hag's about to die, but she's done her job. She's fate of unit everything that really mattered off the field of battle. Now you just need to kill Lewin. Lewin is the last hope for Bretonnia, and I don't think he can kill all this stuff. Fermented Fungi is going to rampage him down just as Orc Biggins are trying to close in. But then they divert. Swamp Things are going to have to go deal with Lewin instead, but these Boar Boys are just going to jump onto some of the Men-at-Arms coming in. The Grail Knights with 19 models getting another regrowth. That should heal cap them for sure. And I believe that this guy's about to get Tormentor Sworded, but it doesn't look like that's the case. The Boar Boy's now starting to go and try and get him, but it's a little too late for that action. He's mostly gotten away. Swamp Things are out again. Grail Knights side charge into the Boar Boy Biggins, doing some pretty crucial damage, because if it comes down to just a Stone Troll that can fight Lewin in melee, then he actually has a decent chance of routing it off. Can the Grail Knights hold? Man, if those Hippogriff Knights hadn't gone off the map while they had positive leadership, this would be a different game, considering the late game we're in. We have some Knights of the Realm off in the Ether that do need to come back. Man, if they were here right now chasing up the Swamp Things, that would be huge. Lewin needs to abandon the River Troll. He needs to go over here and get, he needs to get the Swamp Things. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go do that. Because she might rally, but she might not. And killing a Swamp Things for free would be pretty huge. Greenskins clean up the last of the peasants. All of the peasants I can see are routing as we slowly get some more Knights back. Maybe the Damsel of Life has an Earthblood or 2 for them. Grail Knight's going to chase down the giant River Troll hag as Lewin makes sure the Swamp Things can't come back. And Knights of the Realm are regrouping. They will not be forgotten for long. Those Knights that were coming back, shattered. Times 2 speed as forces regroup a little bit. River Troll is off. River Troll Hag is off. The River Trolls are also going to be gone as the Grail Knights regroup on them. Bretonnia has 2 Knights, one of which is a Grail Knight, a full health Lewin, and a Damsel of I don't know how much healing. She has another regrowth, apparently. Uses it on the Knights of the Realm. That could be huge. For the Greenskins, we have 2 Archers, some wounded Boar Boy Biggins, their Lord, who has no more rampages, I don't believe, and then a full health Stone Troll, but those cowardly guys might get going at any moment. Accidentally almost tipped over my Sodi, which would be bad. And Grail Knights start us off, but with Tormentor Sword locks them in place, cuts off their charge, and allows the Greenskins to countercharge them. Spite of the Bad Moon is out, but so is Sword of Crone, so stacking buffs and debuffs for both sides. The Boar Boy Biggins didn't manage to get the Spite of the Bad Moon. That is a bit unfortunate. Looks like the Grail Knights are just going to die in combat. Down to 500 HP, finally routing. Knights of the Realm are here as well, and the Stone Troll's leadership is holding for now, but Lewin is doing really good work on the other Boar Boys. What can be done about this? Nothing. Orc Our Boys falling back. Night Goblin War Boss in here fighting alongside his Stone Trolls, trying to keep them in it. And Knights of the Realm are also going to rout, leaving just Lewin all alone, but this is the problem we were worried about. He routes off the Orc Biggins. Terror routs the other one. Doesn't naturally route them, so he can't chase them off the battlefield. They will rally in just a second and come back for more. But Lewin is a tricky bitch. All 3 Orc Auror Boys firing at the Knights of the Realm on their way out. The Boar Boys are back. Damsel is gone too. Tried to get out in Earthblood, but got knocked over. It got canceled, then she routed. Now we see if the King of Bretonnia is half the man he pretends to be. Let's keep swinging at Goblins and Boar Boys. Knights of the Realm do manage to return to the fight, charging the Orc Boar Biggins, and their leadership should hold longer, so they should be able to get a rear charge in here. But the Boar Boys barely cling to their leadership. 41 for the Knights of Bretonnia, 1 for the Boar Boy Biggins. But they are delaying disaster. Knights of the Realm won their fight. They need to come charging in. It looks like they are. That should break the Goblins and maybe even break the Orc Boar Biggins. But another clutch Tormentor's Sword from the Night Goblin War Boss, netting them in place, cutting off their charge, saving his troops from their rear charge leadership debuff. And then they shatter. Earthblood out for Lowen. He has his own self-healing, but I think the damsel has realized she's toast and didn't want to bother wasting the healing on herself. Instead, just gave it to Lowen in case he needed it, because there she goes. On the charge, she gets knocked over, and she's not coming back, folks. Goblins pushed away. Stone Troll's heal cap is in sight, but so is Lowen's. And the Night Goblin Warboss is in here. Spider the Bad Moon popped as he strikes back against Lowen. Actually, pretty well. Night Goblin Warboss doesn't have armor piercing, but he has a bunch of bonus for Slarge. Oh, never mind. That was from his Spider the Bad Moon. Duh. Okay. Lowen's trying to hold for now. Boarboy's still dealing with the damsel on the far side, and goblins are back now, immune to terror for a little bit. Archers are slowly poking down Lowen. But how much of it turns into friendly fire as they hit their own goblins who are behind him? Maybe if they rout, his leadership can rally and he can hold it down. Sword of Corona's out, and he gets big shots on Night Goblin Warboss, who is going to terror rout. And then the goblins go routing away. Is this it? Is this the turnaround? I don't know, because the Stone Trolls have a full surround on Lowen, which is much better than they can usually hope for. Normally they kind of have like 3 models connected, and the rest are just standing around, but the full surround is doing really good damage to King of Betonia. Night Goblin Warboss did not die. He just terror routed for a brief moment. And now Lowen is surrounded. Looks like this is over. Very close game. Good game 1 to Sted. Stone Trolls at almost 2,000 value is quite nice. Orc Borbiggins did very well. Orc Aura Boys also did quite well. I didn't feel like they were doing too much, but I guess they were just constantly firing all game long. GG. For the ThePhoenixKing, Lowen tried to carry. Men-at-Arms did okay. Hippogriffs did okay. Grail Knights did better. The Knights of the Realm, Knights Errant, more mixed. Now Sted takes up the mantle of the Demons of Chaos versus the ThePhoenixKing's Dark Elves. The Demons of Chaos, while they're not an S or an A tier faction, I do feel like all the demonic buffs every faction got, which the demons have all of their units, I feel like all the demonic buffs have brought them up to maybe a B tier even. I have seen people taking them in non-meme situations. Such as possibly this one. For the demons, we have Demonettes and Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh for a frontline, backed up by Plague Toads of Nurgle. 4 Chaos Furies of Khorne, and then a Slaanesh caster with Rampage, Acquiescence, and more Chaos Fury summons. The Chaos Fury buffs were pretty huge. People have been of mixed opinions about them, whether it's too strong or whether it's just right, but I think everyone agrees Chaos Furies are currently quite good. On the other side for the Dark Elves, we have some Repeater Crossbow Cav, a Bloodrack Medusa that is deleting the Exalted Demonettes with 1 volley. Then we have Dark Riders, Cold One, Dread Knights, a couple Dark Shards in here and there, and a Sorceress of Death with Fate of Unit and Spirit Leech. The Demonette front line should absolutely clown on the Dread Spears. It should not be a close fight as those guys get in there. With Plague Toads backing them up too, the front line of the Dark Elves is going to fall. It's only a matter of time. But what can their cavalry do? They are uncontested in the mobility game. There are some Chaos Furies these guys are going to countercharge, but there's no, like, Seekers or Heart Seekers or something that they have to deal with. Dragon is setting up for a breath attack somewhere. Chaos Furies are out, but all the Chaos Furies of Khorne are in, trying to stop the Dark Shards and the Repeater Crossbow Cav from getting anything going their way. Fury's taking a lot of damage from the countercharge by the Dark Riders and the Cold and Dread Knights, and there was the breath attack we were waiting for on some of the Demonettes. The Chaos Fury summon and other Khorne Furies are going after that Sorceress. As I said before, the Dark Elves not loving this frontline fight at all. They've already lost 4 of their Dread Spears. Yes, 4 of their Dread Spears are already routing 1.5 minutes into the game. The Bloodrack Medusa is in trouble too. Chaos Fury is going to surround her and stop her from firing for a little bit, while these other ones are in the backfield stopping Dark Shards. Now the only concern I have is these Chaos Furies are not cheap, and they are getting very low on HP. And the Dark Elf Cavalry can get cycle charging done. Spirit Leech out on the Demonettes. Interesting choice. I mean, you think you just want to Spirit Leech the Herald of Slaanesh and take her out. Wants to get a little bit of damage done onto them. One of the Chaos Furies of Khorne does start to fade away. The Dark Shards are going to be kind of useless from this point on. I don't see... I mean, one of them's literally dead. And the other one... I don't see him getting to a good firing position anytime soon. Seems like he's just going to be harassed his whole life. Repeater Crossbow Cav doing their best to kite it out while defended by Dark Riders and Cold One Dread Knights. Trying to use their mobility advantage to leverage a win in this game, as Cold One Dread Knights get stuck fighting the Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh. That is not a fight they're going to win. They need to back off and just constantly refresh charges. Chaos Furies of Khorne taking a fight against the Supreme Sorceress of Death. She seems strangely comfortable taking this altercation. I wouldn't be if you're not a Soul Stealer Dragon. You can't heal yourself up. Fury still chasing down some of these repeater crossbow cav. One of them looks like he's out for the count. Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh chasing out the Blood Arc Medusa was trying to do some kiting and catch these guys out for a little bit. So it looks like the Dark Elves are trying to turn this into a bit of a kite game. See how capable they are of that. So what is this lady fighting? Coldren Dread Knights are fighting against Plague Toads and the Herald of Slaanesh. Ooh, that actually looks like a good engagement for them for now. It could turn sour if these forces over here turn around and get them in the back, but they should be able to win versus the Plague Toads. Though, wow, they're really not doing very much damage. I feel like Coldren Knights are just better than Coldren Dread Knights, even though they're cheaper. Yeah, that value is atrocious, and it's not going up. That is the weakest garbage I've ever seen in my life. Dark Elf Coldren Dread Knights, why are you so ass? Chaos Furies of Khorne still chasing around the Supreme Sorceress of Death. Looks like all three of these Furies are going to be dead soon. This one should die on the charge from the Dark Riders, and then the Repeater Crossbows can turn their attention out of this one. Or if they turn around like that, then you rear charge them with the Dragon. Their leadership goes low enough that they'll just die. Though that Chaos Fury of Khorne actually held on long enough to get this guy to rout, almost kill the other one, and they are trashing this Repeater Crossbow. Oh my lord. Absolutely slaughtered him. Now, it did end up being true. All three Chaos Furies were going to die, but they took out a horrible cost with them as they went. These Coldren Dread Knights ended up being a massive disappointment, as now they are locked up and dying after getting very little value despite fighting a winning fight on paper. The Blood Arc Medusa is still trying to get any range whatsoever so it can get some kiting done. ThePhoenixKing's back is against the wall if he's going to stay in this series. 0-1 and currently down in the balance of power by a lot. What can his Repeater Crossbows do? Dark Riders stray a little too close to the Pavane of Slaanesh caster and she just rampages them to their doom. They are all toast. Do still have two Repeater Crossbow cav, but one of them's routing of its own volition. The other one's not looking too good as Blood Arc Medusa just tries to get any distance at all with which you can use to shoot. The last of these Coldren Dread Knights, they have 6 hull models. They dive in, they immediately break and shatter. I saw Dark Rider shatter in the distance too. It's looking like a really tough game for the Dark Elves. Another Spirit Leech onto the Plague Toads of Nurgle. Trying to take out that mobility. If you can get it down to just Demonettes, then the Blood Arc Medusa can carry the whole game. But as long as there's Plague Toads harassing it, it's pretty tough. In the back, we have Coldren Dread Knights waiting, lurking. The Dread Spears are coming down the hill as well to get back in the engagement. Plague Toads are getting shot while the Medusa runs away. ×2 speed as we go through this Benny Hill a bit. As the Dread Spears shatter, now the Coldren Dread Knights are going to start moving. Because he's trying to use them, so here's the tactics of it. He's trying to use the Coldren Dread Knights and the Dread Spears to fulfill the attacking rule while his skirmish stuff runs. Because to get the attacking rule with skirmish stuff, you have to be firing as fast as they can reload, so you have to like run, stop, run, stop, run, stop. He doesn't have the time to do that, so he's using some of the units he put in reserve to fulfill the attacking rule for him so he can wait longer and take better engagements without needing to stop and fulfill the rules. Because he is fulfilling the rules, just not with his skirmish units. It's the Coldren Dread Knights and the Dread Spears that were trying to do stuff. And as soon as the Dread Spear shattered, his Coldren Dread Knights got activated. It's smart. It's a little bit of like rules gamesmanship that you might be like, oh, like, you know, he should just attack, he just throws units away. And it's like, yeah, if it was a more casual game, I would agree with you. But I think in a very important tournament game like this, he's got to min-max his advantage, especially as far down as he is. So I think it's just really good hustle. Blood Arc Medusa does get Pavaned, and as as the rampage wears off, it might be too late. She's taken way too much damage, and if she routs, then ThePhoenixKing can't control her and push her back towards his own forces. I think if she routs, he's probably going to surrender, honestly. Because without the Medusa, he literally can't win this. Plague Toads are going to catch some of his Repeater Crossbow cav as they try and get to safety. Yeah, that's just GG. There's no way a 1/3 HP, half ammunition Repeater Crossbow cav can kill everything, and this Lord is surrounded, and he gives up at that point. Pretty good game state awareness from ThePhoenixKing. And both these players are rather good. I don't remember what group they were in when they sent me this replay, but it's either the 2-0 group or it was a 1-1, I believe. So, yeah. I fully expect Phoenix King to rally and get back through the bracket to get up to stage 2. I would also expect Sted to qualify. I'm not particularly worried about either of them. We have some good players who are currently down in the 0-2 area where I'm like, there's no way you don't make it to stage 2, but you're going to have to do a 3-0 sweep. For the values, the Chaos Corn got a lot of value. Blood and Medusa did okay. Man, Cold One Dread Knights were just so disappointing. I appreciate that he takes fun units, but Cold and Dread Knights just aren't it. They feel so garbage. GG, lads.
Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.